Welcome to Centinela de Cristo.
Blessings. This is Pastor Luis Luciano from Oklahoma. Thursday, May 29. That your salvation may be known. Read Psalm 67. How does this hymn of praise inform your understanding of the role of God's people in Revelation 14, verses 6 to 12? Engineers at MIT have created a new black coating that renders objects painted with it nearly invisible. Created from nanotubes, it is many times darker than any black material previously created. This new material can absorb 99.995% of all visible light. Even the brightest light fails to make objects covered in this coating visible. Psalm 67 begins with an appeal for God to cause His face to shine upon us, that your way may be known on earth. Psalm 67 verses 1 and 2. In the plan of salvation, God has provided a way for sinners to be readmitted to His immediate glorious presence without being destroyed by His glory. And even now in this life, the cross of Christ makes it possible for God's face to shine on us. But there's more. God intends that we reflect His light to the rest of the world. This was the task given to Israel. The temple was to be a house of prayer for all nations. Even them I will bring to my holy mountain and make them joyful in my house of prayer. Their burnt offerings and their sacrifices will be accepted on my altar, for my house shall be called the house of prayer for all nations. Isaiah 56:7. In this psalm, David reminds us that God wants His way to be known on earth, His salvation among all nations. Psalm 67:2. Tragically, God's people have often failed in this task. Israel's record in the Old Testament contains some dark chapters, as does the record of Christian church over the last 2 millennia. It is as if we have painted our hearts with an ultra-dark substance, content to absorb God's light without reflecting. Sometimes we treat God's last day movement as a kind of privileged departure lounge reserved for spiritual frequent flyers. And we seem quite content that the rest of the world must sit in the noisy, uncomfortable gate lounge, unprepared for the journey ahead. The remnant church of Revelation 14, however, is not content just to stand on Zion with Christ, basking in His presence. Instead, they fly across the face of the earth, urging the world to join them on God's holy mount. What obligations should we as a church and as individuals feel toward teaching others the truths that we love so much?